Hi kids, welcome back to another pizza party that I've started 75 times. I've literally tried to film 150,000 vlogs, and that's only a slight exaggeration. This has nothing to do with vlogs. That's just a piece of paper, but it felt dramatic. It felt like I needed to toss something. I need to be kind to myself because we are literally just teetering on the cusp of being out of a reading slump. I've tried way too many times to start a reading vlog, but I was giving myself parameters. I was trying to set rules and stipulations on what books I could read. And then as soon as I was trying to read those books, my brain would go, no, that doesn't sound fun. I don't like it. Let's not do it. And I have to listen to my brain because honestly, it's what's in charge. Everything else just falls in line most of the time. I don't know. I decided that the best way to go about creating a vlog, since it's beautiful outside, I want to read. I want to go on walks with my dogs and listen to audiobooks. I'm reading outside of the parameters that I keep trying to set for myself, but I can't seem to fit myself into a box right now. So we're going to mood read our little butt off. So what I've decided we are going to do is read whatever the fuck we feel like reading. How does that sound? The first book that I'm going to be picking up, I'm actually about, I think like 25% of the way into Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm having a really fun time. I will say I was not able to get my hands on the audiobook, and that was incredibly highly recommended to me because of the nature of this book. But it's only available on Audible. I do not have Audible. I have Libro FM and Libby and Hoopla. I have all kinds of other things. I do not have Audible, but I do live in a house with someone that does have Audible. So he has given me permission to use his next credit when it comes through. If I want to go on within this series, I will have access to the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobooks. That being said, I do have Kindle Unlimited. Dungeon Crawler Carl, the first book, is available on Kindle Unlimited, and I picked that bad boy up. This is a litrpg, and it's not something I have ever read before, so it's a little bit different and a little bit of something you got to wrap your head around. But if you've ever played a video game, you're pretty quick at picking this up. Like it's kind of like a video game, which I've played video games. I love video games. I understood it. This is something that I'm going to wait until the 50% mark to tell you about, other than it's about Carl and he's dungeon crawling. So we are going to be picking that up. I have not chosen an actual physical book because that is on my Kindle, and I have not chosen another audiobook because I've only got a little while left in one in order to finish it up. And I don't want to start a vlog when I've got 10% of a book left in an audiobook and then tell you about that one without really updating you anymore. So the next audiobook I pick up, I'll let you know about. This is just whatever the hell I want. That's what this is. I'm going to read books, and when I feel like talking about them, I'm going to talk about them. I'm trying to be kind to myself while everything's on fire in the world, you know? Let's figure this out. I'm sure everything behind me is literal chaos, but I have to go to work and we need to update because girl is flying through Dungeon Crawler Carl. Let me not leave you in anticipation. Let me actually tell you what this book is about. This is the story of Carl, and he's a guy, living on planet Earth. And he has recently gone through a breakup with, I think her name was B, but his cheating awful ex has moved out and hasn't had a chance to come claim all of her stuff, including her very puffy, very expensive cat known as Princess Donut, who is the star. In her own mind, at least. Carl, one morning, really stinking early, I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning, on one of the coldest days in the entire history of the world, it sounds like. Princess Donut accidentally escapes. Carl goes outside in nothing but Crocs and his boxer briefs, it sounds like, to go fetch Princess Donut, and suddenly the world ends. It just ends. Everything is gone, and Carl, just through pure luck and happenstance, happened to be in just the right place to survive. We find out pretty quickly that there is some sort of corporate bigwig alien corporation nonsensical thing that has a reality TV show. It's kind of Hunger Gamesy, but it's not. It's basically televised chaos, and Carl has entered into being a dungeon crawler along with Princess Donut. If you have never played a video game, I think some of this stuff
stuff will go over your head, even though it's described pretty accurately. If you are a fan of video games, a lot of these things will make you laugh and smile. This is just silly, like over the top silly. It's very aware of itself. And Carl and Princess Donut are trying to survive against whatever the hell the dungeon can throw at them. But also they need to be interesting. They need to be entertaining, because similar to the Hunger Games, they need sponsors. They need people to send them things. There are loot crates and levels up. There are different boss battles. We are encountering other crawlers in the dungeon, but Earth is gone and now Carl has to survive, and he's not even wearing pants. This has been so fun so far. I like the different aspects of parts of the world have been sunk down into the dungeons and repurposed for safe houses, for boss battles. This is so stinking creative. I can't imagine the absolute hysterical laughter, the super duper over the top laughter that this author must have been. I just imagine them cackling to themselves while they're writing some of this stuff. It's so creative. It's so fun. It's so ridiculous. I have not picked up a physical book yet, but I have some books that should be showing up because I was having a bad day, so I bought myself some books. Maybe when one of those bad boys show up, we'll pick them up. You don't even realize it, but Winnie has just sat herself between my knees. Winnie, star of the show, bestest girl. I'll hopefully finish up Dungeon Crawler Carl here pretty soon too. I don't know. We're just letting the mood take us, you know? We're enjoying our time. I mean, I can't find anywhere to put you that you aren't just like staring at my steering wheel. I need to talk to you. I'll just do this. And if it's wobbly, I apologize, but we're in the car. So it was incredibly loud inside my house and I have to leave soon anyways. I hope the lighting is not atrocious. If it is, just what I'm living with. We need to check in because I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl and I absolutely flippin' loved it. It was so good. This is really wiggly, isn't it? Hold on. That's not terrible. I'll get low with it. What if we do this? Oh, not nearly as much better as I wanted it to be. All right. I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl. I loved it. I had the absolute best time. That is some of the most fun I've had reading a book in a while. It is funny. It is satirical. It has like heartfelt moments. You are on this wild ride with Carl and Princess Donut. We meet friends along the way. We make enemies. The nature of it being this competition, this survival situation, just encountering the most insane enemies and just having the absolute best time. It is available on Kindle Unlimited, and that's how I read it. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. I had a great time, but talking to friends, they had all listened to the audiobooks. It is exclusively available on Audible, which sucks if you don't have Audible. I live with someone who has Audible, and so I went and looked, and the second book was on sale. So I purchased that. I didn't spend any of his credits. Then picked up the second book just to get a feel for what the audiobook was going to be like. Totally worth it. Just a supreme audiobook experience. This is just so well done. I just feel like everybody had this gem sitting in their back pocket, and now I am part of the club that gets some of the inside jokes that just wants to scream at people. There have been so many people that aren't even fantasy readers, that aren't video game players, that wouldn't necessarily be the type of people that I would recommend this book to. And I'm like, just try it. Just see if you like it because it's so much fun. I'd be really surprised if you don't have a good time. So, 5 stars. All the way. Loved Dungeon Crawler Carl. I did decide to pick up a physical book, and I'm going with I Am Made of Death. This was something that I heard about. I will link the video in the description from a booktuber who was talking about this book being one of their favorite books that they read. I believe they got an art copy last year. This was basically being pitched by her as bubblegum horror. I did not watch the entire video because I watched enough to be like, all right, that is something I wish to partake in, and I do not wish to be spoiled in any way, shape, or form. Not that I thought this person was going to spoil the book, but I wanted to go in as blind as possible. They were basically describing bubblegum horror as similar to something like Jennifer's Body. It's that vibe, which is the worst way I could possibly explain it, but if it's something you like, you immediately know what I'm talking about. It's usually centered around young women, whether they be high school, college, what have you. There's this juxtaposition of really gruesome body horror, really horrible, gross, bloody things happening, and also just like being a young woman, the ridiculousness that is being a female. It's glitter and gore all mixed together. Hell is a teenage girl. And so I picked this one up because this is the story of a young man named Thomas who is, in the opening of this book, going to take on a new position as a glorified babysitter slash interpreter for a very wealthy young woman who is selectively mute. She uses sign language. Thomas grew up with a mother who is deaf, even though he can hear, and so he is fluent in sign language and has taken on this interpreter type role for this really over-the-top wealthy young woman. He is hired by this young woman's parents, so she is not too keen on him being there. I think I'm like a couple of chapters in. Let's look. I'm on chapter 5. This is dual POV, going back and forth between the point of view of Thomas and the point of view of Vivian, who is our young woman who you learn pretty quickly. Hold on. Let me check and see if it's in the synopsis so I'm not ruining anything. I will describe it to you the way the synopsis describes to you. Vivian is desperate for a way to regain control of both her voice and her body because the face staring out of the mirror isn't hers. It's something with teeth. I have only got a little bit of the way into this, but I'm already really enjoying the ride. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be really fast. It's not that incredibly big. And just the writing style is something as soon as you pick it up, you are just moving through this. But we've already had some things that are a little creepy, that are a little dark happening. I'm interested in this. I have not decided. Okay. I've decided right here now. I'm not going to immediately pick up the second audiobook or the second book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, even though that is the next audiobook, because I don't want to burn myself out on it. I want to pick up something in between. I did have a few things come through from the library recently, and so I'm going to see what the library has kicked me as far as audiobooks are concerned and maybe pick one of those before I jump back into Dungeon Crawler Carlness. But I just love when you find a new book series. Isn't it just so much fun when you find a book you love? So we're going to read some bubblegum horror. We're going to read some sparkly, glittery, bloody, gory nonsense. And we're going to continue having a really good time. The dogs have instantly run away, but it's a beautiful day outside. So I think that we are going to sit outside and finish up I Am Made of Death. This I have, let's see. So I have a little over 50 pages left until I finish this, and I'm really actually enjoying it. I think this is going to end up being a 4-star read for me. I'm loving the dual POV. I'm loving both our character Thomas and our character Vivian. We have Thomas, who kind of comes from a more blue-collar upbringing. He was given the opportunity with financial aid to go off to college, but that has dried up due to circumstances dealing with his home life, his mother having an autoimmune disease that is not going to kill her, but definitely makes her weak, his sister and having to support her. I believe she's like 15 or 16 years old. And Thomas has white knight syndrome. He really feels like it is his job, it is his place to save everyone, be there for everyone, and he's a good person, but he is definitely going to self-sabotage in order to ensure that other people survive. Thomas is the kind of person that will blow up his own life for the people he loves. We then have Vivian, our spoiled rich girl with a dark secret, who uses everyone around her, but for reasons. You, from the beginning, because you get in both of these characters' heads, you know that Vivian is also not a bad person, but she has been brought up in this household with people that use her, so she in turn uses the people around her. But she has very legitimate reasons for the things she does. She's scared, she's trying to survive, horrible things are happening, and Vivian is doing what she needs to and using the people around her when necessary to ensure not only her safety, but her survival. Because let's be real, with what's going on, Vivian is never really safe. I don't know if you can hear that, but someone has decided that right now is the time to start a chainsaw. I will say the scares in this are very visual. I think this would really lend itself well to being a movie or a miniseries. A lot of the creepy, horrible, gross, scary, dark things that are happening, it's a very like visual thing that's happening. Things are dripping and things are rotting and scary things with long fingernails. We know when something bad is about to happen. There is a slowing down of things around us. The speed seems to slow down, and water is really present in this. There's a lot of that dripping, echoing, just underwater muffling of sound. So there is like an auditory aspect to the horror in this, but it's mostly like very visual and gross and drippy and nasty. I'm actually really liking it. I'm also liking the relationship between Vivian and Thomas, because this is also, we've stepped it up. We have a blower and a chainsaw going. I love that for us. This is also a romance between these two characters. From the jump, they are attracted to each other. They're both very attractive young people forced into a forced proximity situation. We have Vivian, who doesn't feel like anybody's ever put her first or cared for her. And we have Thomas, who would literally fight a mountain. This man would punch Everest for Vivian and for the people he loves. It's a problem. He's toxic chivalry. I am really enjoying this, but I will say I have also realized that this is actually a little bit of a sequel. Well, it exists in the same world as another book by this author, and the characters from that book, there's a giant bee right here, just hanging with us. What's up, sir? Can you do this somewhere else? The author had previously written The Whispering Dark, which I actually did try to read once and just wasn't in the right mood for. It felt a little bit YA from the jump. Well, this feels a little bit more new adult. The characters from the book, The Whispering Dark, show up in this book. Once we reach the second part of this book, because I think I just entered into part 3, once you reach the second part of this book, a lot of the side characters become important, integral to what's happening. Some of the side characters showing up are characters in that book. If you had read that book, you would probably understand a little bit more of their backstory and who they are and why we should be excited about seeing them. I have not read that book. I am still enjoying myself. I don't think it's necessary, but it's one of those, like, you probably would even have more of a fun time if you've read The Whispering Dark. And honestly, I don't know why I haven't read The Whispering Dark, because I'm having a really fun time with this one. We are in the throes of the third act right now. I'm interested to see where this goes and how it goes, because I feel like this is probably going to have a very tragic ending. Vivian is going through it. Thomas is trying his best to white knight it. I'm having a really good time. And I'm reading it pretty quick. So we're going to sit outside and finish this last little bit. I literally was too lazy to get a bookmark. So we're using the dust jacket like some kind of animal. Let's sit down outside, finish a book. And then I should tell you about this, went to this absolutely adorable new bookstore in my area that is a romance bookstore, and clients and friends were telling me that I needed to go to this place. I went. I could not film inside because it was absolutely packed and I didn't want to be that person, but I did get a couple shots outside, and I can show you what I got at the cute little romance bookstore. Let's do that when we go back inside. Let's finish this first and then we'll show you the books. It'll be like a reward. All right, 4 stars. I had a really good time. My final thoughts on this would be, I really do think that you should read the first book before you pick up this book, especially with the conclusion that we get. I think it would be a lot more, I'm going to use the word satisfying, not that I was unsatisfied by the ending. I liked it. It went big. It got crazy. We went full, just over the top eldritch, goopy, drippy horror. But I feel like some of the impact of some of these things wasn't as strong for me because I didn't have as much investment in side characters. That being said, I read it without reading the first one and still had a good time. So if you don't feel like reading 2 books, you just want to read 1, that's fine. We had a good romancy ending. I enjoyed myself. 4 stars. Let's talk about what I got at the bookstore. I actually started reading this as soon as I got into the parking lot. This is Rain and Ruin. I have seen this absolutely everywhere, and this is apparently, if you like fantasy heavy, like epic fantasy heavy fantasy romance, this series has gotten all of the stars from all of the people that love that kind of stuff. This says she is the heir to the Sultanate. I'm going to say Sultanate.
Sultanate.
She is an heir to a
Sultanate
that once ruled the world. He is an unwanted prince with the power to destroy. She is order and intellect, a woman fit to rule in a man's place. He is chaos and violence and will stop at nothing to protect his people. It's got magic, it's got battles, it's got romance, it's got a little bit of magic-y stuff. also like pages themselves are like pretty and designed. We got that one. What else did we get? I got, but not too bold. This is touted as The Shape of Water meets Mexican Gothic in a sapphic monster romance novella wrapped in Gothic fantasy trappings. It's tiny, the cover is gorgeous, and that got me. That's all I needed. Of course, I want to read sapphic Gothic monster romance. Who wouldn't? Like, who wouldn't want that? And last but not least, I got Done and Dusted. This is the first book in a series of cowboy-ish, westerny type romances, contemporary romances, which I have been seeing absolutely everywhere, probably because Yellowstone was a thing. But this seems to be circling my orbit, so why not, This says that it is a sizzling small-town brother's best friend romance. So they shouldn't be getting together. They've known each other for a long time. Sizzling. Oh, her name is Clementine, but they call her Emmy. I mean, Clementine is a good cowboy kind of name, But those are the books that I got from the super cute little romance bookstore. I will definitely be going back. The place was absolutely adorable. But I have to decide if I want to pick up one of these or if I want to pick up one of the 1.5 million other books that I have. Do you know what I really feel like picking up right now? Let me grab it. We can hear your tail wagging, Whitney. I really want to pick up The River Has Roots. This author is one of the 2 authors that wrote This Is How We Lose the Time War, which is an absolutely beautiful sci-fi epistolary love story between 2 people on opposing sides of a war. It's gorgeous and was definitely a favorite of mine when I read it, and so I'm interested to pick up something from this author. This is incredibly short and about 2 sisters who do something on the borders of the Feyland, and their family has done it for generations. I don't know what they do, but something I'm sure magical. One of the sisters, I believe, falls in love with a fae, and unfortunately, I think it's like somebody wants to marry her, but she's in love with a fae, and so they run off to the Feylands to run away from this person that's trying to marry the one sister, I think. I don't know. It's short. I will actually probably not check in halfway because that would be weird since we've only got... Oh. Well, this author has another short story that is coming up, and the preview is in the back of the book. And this book is so skinny, and there's literally this many pages dedicated to another short story by this author. Oh, it's a short story collection. Oh, so it's one of the short stories from the short story collection. Look at that little illustration. That's pretty. Okay, so how many pages? I got sidetracked. Okay, so this is literally 99 pages. We are not checking in at the halfway mark. This is 100 pages. I'll let you know. Oh, buddy. I look amazing. I know. I also, for some reason, put you on a shelf that makes me kind of have to sit in a squat position. Really, we're just trying our best. I finished a book, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. This author is just absolutely magical with words. This was like breathtakingly beautiful at moments, while also being extremely accessible. It's not overly purple prose, just like incredibly gorgeous. I even highlighted, this is not really a spoiler, this book is incredibly short, so I'm not going to give you much other than this is the story of Esther and Isabel. They are sisters. They love each other dearly. They come from a family whose job it is to live on the edge of fairy and sing to the willow trees. There's lots of forms of magic that this author creates. These willow trees are kind of the guardian, the gate to the world of fairy. One sister, our older sister Esther, has caught the eye of a suitor that she is not interested in. She has let this person know she is not interested, but they are not taking no for an answer. She has also fallen in love with someone from the fae world, and this is going to cause some problems, for both sisters. I'm going to read you this. Dim the lights, children. Listen. There are lands that are near to us geographically, but far from us temporally. London is not Londinium, though it's built from its bones. There are lands that are near to us temporally, but far from us geographically. We can be certain that at this moment, in Italy, someone is sitting down to their breakfast with a newspaper dated roughly the same as ours, though we cannot expect to reach them in time to join them for that meal. The book is full of absolutely gorgeous illustrations as well. beautiful. I loved this. Not to mention the short story in the back of this book that is going to be from the collection of short stories that this author will be releasing sometime soon, which I will be purchasing the absolute hell out of because I loved the short story in the back of this book. It is the story of a man who shows up at a witch's door with a hole in his back and asks for help. That is all you need to know. The man legitimately has a giant hole in his back, like a tree would have a hole in it. It was so good. It goes in such a different direction than you think. There's a twist in it. Like, this author is really good at their job. I really love this. I think that there are just some people who have really found their path in this world and create beautiful art for us to enjoy. And it is our job as humans to enjoy this art that they create. That's it. I will also say I did get a little misty-eyed reading the acknowledgement in this. I feel like this is now an auto by author. Like, I will be searching out anything that this author creates because I feel privileged in that I get to enjoy the things they create. How about that? This was beautiful. We have another book down, and I think we should start another one. I have some shorty short friends here. Do we want to read a shorty short friend, or do we just want to go absolutely bananas and just do what I always do and read whatever is the newest book? I have Done and Dusted. Do you know what we could do? I'm going to try the first chapter of Done and Dusted and the first chapter of Freak's Law, which this is 99% a cover by, because look at that. Look at it. The synopsis of this says, it is the summer of 97 and the repressed Scottish town of Pitlaw is itching for change. Enter the Freak's Law, a traveling carnival of deviant queers and architects of mayhem. That's all I need. Yes. This sounds super fun. So we're going to try a chapter of this. And we're also going to try a chapter of Done and Dusted, which we previously talked about. And I'm going to see what kind of mood I'm in, because what are we doing? Chasing our mood. Right, Winnie? Also, Winnie has to wear the cone of shame because she got bit on her butt by a bug. She has a little bug bite there and she won't stop messing with it, and we don't want her to get a hot spot. So she has to wear the cone of shame. You want to see? Look at that beautiful, beautiful creature. Just still happy. Back outside again. Also, can we talk about this? I've reached the point of not caring, and I'm gonna look like I have some sort of strange lumpy, it kind of reminds me of a really bad pastry on top of my head. Who knows though? I am sleep deprived, so you're getting what you're getting from me. I decided to go with Done and Dusted because I was feeling like I needed something light and fluffy. I do think I will be picking up Freak's Law very soon. I did enjoy the first chapter, but we're being kind to our mind, and so we decided to pick up something that was going to make us feel good. This so far is exactly what I thought it was going to be. It is a contemporary romance taking place in Wyoming on a great big ranch. There are cowboys, there are horses. Our main character, Clementine, who is known as Emmy, I think she's a barrel rider, but she has recently exited her life. Well, that sounds like she died. She did not die. She instead packed up all her stuff, quit her job, broke up with her boyfriend on a Post-it note, got in her truck, and drove all the way to her hometown, which is Meadowlark, Wyoming, where her family owns one of the biggest ranches around. And she stays with her best friend, Teddy, for the first night because she's trying to lay low. She doesn't want her family to know she's back. They go to a local dive bar that's been there for absolutely forever, where she runs into Luke Bryant. Is that his last name? Brooks. She runs into Luke Brooks, who is her older brother's best friend and has been since childhood. They have always kind of bickered. She didn't really like him. She thought he was kind of a jerk all throughout childhood, but she does make a mention of 13-year-old her thinking 18-year-old him was pretty dreamy sometimes. They do not have a brotherly, sisterly relationship. If anything, she's kind of outright annoyed by him, and he really just hasn't noticed her. He has done a lot of big brotherly type protective stuff because his friend friends have wanted that from him, and he is incredibly loyal. We now have Emmy showing up in her hometown, and obviously something has happened in her life that has made her uproot herself, and she is trying to get through it. And we have Brooks, who is this one person in her mind, and she's now having to meet the real him, the more mature him, the grown-up him, the him that is an adult. And he is meeting grown-up Emmy, and they both instantly are attracted to each other. They then start this like sweet secret riding horses together, working through our troubles thing together. There is a really fun bit of family dynamic happening in this. I'm pretty sure that I know what some of our conflicts are going to be, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're here for the setting and the horses and for cute cowboys. I will say his term of endearment he uses for her is sugar. As a woman that lives in the South, if anyone calls me sugar, it's usually condescending, but I'm willing to forgive it in this situation because he's not using it in a condescending way. It is a term of endearment. But if somebody calls you sugar in the South, if it's a sweet old lady, it might not be a bad thing. But for the most part, if somebody looks at you and says, "Oh, sugar," like they're like, "Oh, how did you get this dumb?" I'm almost at the halfway point. I'm flying through this. I'm enjoying it. It's giving when I needed it to give. Let's finish up. Done and dusted. I wore my frog cowboy shirt for this occasion. I have a Dolly Parton shirt somewhere that my friend bought me because, as you could probably tell from the teeny tiny clip that I decided to record, Dolly Parton is obviously mentioned in this book, and Dolly Parton should be sainted. You know, when they ask that question, if you could have a meal with any celebrity, living or dead, Dolly Parton, hands down. I think she would be so pleasant. I think do you want to see my cool Dolly Parton book? I've already gotten sidetracked, but you're interested, right? This was a Christmas present from Mr. Pizza because I love Dolly Parton. And I've never been to Dolly World. Isn't that just like, honestly, a little sad? But this book is basically about all of her costumes that she's had throughout the years, all the famous ones. I love it. It sits in a place of honor upon my bookshelf. I love Dolly Parton. That was a complete side tangent. Okay, I finished Done and Dusted, and I had a really good time. This gave me exactly what I thought it was going to give me. This is sweet and lovely. You feel good after finishing it. It's the opening up of this world that this author has created. It introduces people that you know are going to get their own books, their own romances. I 100,000%. As soon as Teddy and Gus, Teddy being Emmy's best friend, Gus being Emmy's older brother, because the whole dynamic in this is that Emmy and Brooks are not supposed to get together because Brooks is Gus's best friend and Emmy is Gus's little sister. I feel like I'm explaining this in the most confusing way ever, but Emmy's best friend and Emmy's brother, they just like bicker and pick at each other and have this, chip on their shoulder, like they hate each other. And I was like, oh, I am going to eat that book up. The next book after this is actually Emmy's other brother, Wes. And though he sounds lovely and he has a dog, so obviously points there, I may or may not have skipped that one and bought Gus and Teddy's romance. I got it on audiobook from Libro FM, and I might have already finished it in like a day. I know. It was just making me feel good. The world is on fire, and if I want to read something that just feels like sunshine, it's not hard. The things that are happening are not, like, even the conflicts are not end of the world conflicts. This is easy, digestible, sweet, lovely, and then spicy cowboy times happen. I enjoyed this. It was a good time. I'm obviously going to keep reading in the series, and there was no stupidness in the third act is how I'll put it. There is obviously a third act conflict because what is a book without a conflict in the third act? That's just how stories work. But I have said this in a lot of videos in the past. I absolutely hate what a lot of romance authors do for their third act conflict, because a lot of the times it's not necessary or it's already been resolved previously and we just decide to bring it back up. But that did not happen in this book. I feel like this was just so sweet. It was just so kind. It was just so lovely. It was just easy to watch these two people fall in love. I will continue on. And apparently I'm into cowboy romances. Who knew? Not me. I definitely didn't know until just recently. Hello. But that, kids, is where we are going to end this vlog. We're going to end it. And it went well. And maybe, perhaps, I will just keep doing this. Because I feel like some people are really, really great at giving themselves a set of rules, a set of parameters, some guidelines for which to follow. I apparently am not in a good place to do that with myself. So, mood reading. Being a mood reader and doing the mood reading? Come on, I'm flying through books. But if you had fun hanging out with me and the dogs, please subscribe. If you are on TikTok, I just got back on TikTok. I'd gotten off of the TikTok because I wanted to be on the BookTok, and TikTok was pushing me other places. The algorithm was not letting me live where I wanted to live, so I got off. I'm back on. So if you're on the TikTok and you want to play, let's be friends. I hope you're reading good books out there, wherever you are, and I'd love to hear about them. And we'll see you next time. Poor Winnie and her cone of shame.